The Tesla Model Y and Model 3 both have an interior camera above the rearview mirror that is always facing the inside of the car. Up until a few months ago, this camera was completely turned off and not used for anything. But in a software update a few months ago, Tesla made it optional to turn this camera on so it could send data back to Tesla in case of an accident. The notes read that if you enable this feature, the camera will capture short clips or even pieces of video that will be sent back to Tesla just prior to an accident to help them improve safety. While it's nice that Tesla made that off by default, it seems the camera is now doing just a little bit more, and you may want to pick up one of these. If you end up enjoying this video, please hit like and get subscribed. So it turns out that the interior camera in the Model 3 and the Model Y is now looking for all kinds of data. Things such as, is the driver looking forward? Do they have sunglasses on? Are they looking down? Are they not paying attention to the road? This all comes from Green on Twitter. He routinely goes into the code and sees what's going on there. And he said within the past 2 weeks, this has been added by Tesla. Now, this is opt-in the same way that we got in those options earlier. This isn't something Tesla has specifically told us is going on, which I find pretty interesting. I personally did stay out of sending that data to Tesla. Who knows when or if they're going to send the data and why they'd be doing that. I just didn't feel comfortable sending that. But now it looks like this may be happening, this monitoring may be happening even if you opted out. And most likely Tesla is not sending any of this data off to their servers, but locally on the car it might be processing all of this stuff, looking at your face, taking pictures, recording data all the time to try to figure out what's going on. So I just recently picked up one of these. This is just a little camera cover you can use on your laptop, or even some people will use them on their phone. If you want to pick one of these up for yourself, I will leave the link in the description. It's just, I think it was about $5 on Amazon, so not really a big deal. And I never got it before because I knew the camera wasn't on, but now that the camera is enabled and doing these things, until Tesla gives us a little more information and until the camera is necessary to use for full self-driving, I think I'm just going to put that cover on and just cover up my camera for now, because I don't really need to be watched, especially if I'm not getting anything from that camera being enabled. As of right now, the S and X do not have an interior camera like this, but if it's needed for full self-driving, it can be retrofitted onto there. The hardware does have a plug for that interior camera, and probably would require some other things to be replaced, but as of now, S and X owners do not need to worry about this. It is Model 3 and Model Y that has this camera active doing these things. Now, why is Tesla doing this? Of course, moving towards full self-driving, when we're not there yet, which we are not, you have to make sure the driver's paying attention. How Tesla does that today is a hand resting on the steering wheel. If the steering wheel can feel torque, it knows you're there paying attention, and that way the car can keep using autopilot. If you keep your hands off the wheel for too long, autopilot will be turned off and the car will slow to a stop. But unfortunately, that's very easy to trick. People will put a weight on the wheel, they'll put a water bottle or an ankle weight or something, and then you don't have to have a hand on the wheel. You could lie down and fall asleep, and the car would never know the difference. Of course, that's really dangerous, and nobody should ever do that, and it's illegal anyway. But as the car gets more advanced, and Tesla maybe starts running into regulations from governments, especially in Europe, but it could happen in the US as well, they may need some more robust ways to tell if a person is paying attention while the car is doing all of its autonomous stuff. Other companies use very similar systems. I think they're a bit more sophisticated, but GM Super Cruise has a camera actually in the steering wheel. And with Super Cruise, they advertise hands off. You can put your hands down in your lap or whatever you want to do. As long as you are looking forward, paying attention, they can see if you're paying attention with sunglasses on, off. It doesn't matter. The system is really capable. So this could be really good news. If the camera can just see my face, see that I'm paying attention, then I don't have to keep a hand on the wheel. I could kind of just, sit with my hands in my lap, ready to go in case the car has any troubles. That would actually be really nice. I would prefer that. I wouldn't need the camera cover since I know what's going on, why the camera's being used, and then autopilot might be a nicer experience. It would definitely help in all the autopilot videos when they blow up and they get a lot of views from people that aren't familiar with Tesla, constantly getting the comment, I see your hand on the wheel, it's not driving itself, you're cheating, you're busted. I try to respond to all of those comments and explain, but yeah, that can get a little tiring. Another reason this could be really cool is autopilot will alarm you if it gets confused or there's a situation it's not sure about or it thinks you're not paying attention. And if the camera's looking at you, even if it doesn't detect your hand on the wheel, or even if it does detect your hand on the wheel, if the camera sees you're looking forward, it may not need to sound an alarm. It may be like, okay, I'm a little confused, but I see that the driver is looking ahead, paying attention, hand on the the wheel, so I'm not going to sound an alarm right now. So that could be a little more relaxing. I know my wife complains that the car is alarming at her a little too often, especially as she approaches a stopped vehicle. It will alarm at her, and you can adjust those settings, but I've turned hers down to be the least sensitive, and she still gets some of those alarms, which she finds annoying. Personally, I enjoy them just because I'd much rather be annoyed a little bit than accidentally hit a car or go out of my lane or something. And honestly, I don't experience those too much, but it would be really nice. Then the cameras could be used and you wouldn't have all these false alarms going off. Another idea is Tesla's insurance. So right now in California only, you can get insurance for your vehicle directly through Tesla. And if they can use that camera to show, 98% of the time this driver is looking forward, or 95% of the time, I don't know what the average really is, they could lower insurance rates for those good drivers, people that are always paying attention or most of the time paying attention. If you're not paying attention a lot or abusing autopilot or the autonomous features before they're actually full self-driving when you're allowed to not pay attention, Tesla could raise your insurance rates. They could even kick you off. They could, say that you're too much of a risk, you are too risky of a driver, and they may be able to kick you off of the insurance so they don't have to cover you anymore. Now that gets a little weird and gets back into the oh, I don't know if I want the camera watching me thing. I'm sure that would be another opt-in feature. A lot of insurance companies have options where you can give them more data, and if it looks like you're a good driver, they'll lower your rates. So some people opt into that and some don't. So as far as being ready for regulations across the world, safer driving overall, making sure people are paying attention. There is one problem with the current setup though. It's that the camera can't currently see at night. It doesn't have infrared, and if it's too dark in the car, the camera won't be able to see your face. So I'm not sure how exactly Tesla's going to handle that. Again, maybe this is just kind of a stopgap until they get that full self-driving, and then once it's actually driving itself, level 5 autonomous, they really don't care if you're paying attention or not. There's no reason for them to be monitoring you. The camera can be used for its purpose that Elon stated before, which is kind of a security camera when your car's being used as a robotaxi. So let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you think this is good, bad, kind of weird? I'm a little conflicted on it myself. I don't like that it's just here, and they didn't say anything and I get nothing out of it. So that's why I'm opting to cover my camera for now. Once they tell us, okay, here's what we're doing and here's why, and these are the reasons you'll want this enabled, I'm all for it. I'll be excited to have hands off, kind of relax a little bit more in the car. That'll be nice, but until then, my camera's gonna be covered up. Let me know what you think of that down in the comments, and I will talk to you down there, and you will see me in the next video.
So Autopilot and I are happily driving along